Hello, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers pre-match Liverpool versus Tottenham. There is absolutely nothing freaking else going on right now. So I don't even know there were other games today, but as far as we know, we're about to play in 45 minutes over here. The lineup is out. So we'll talk about that. Let's first welcome our tactics guru, Gary, over here. What's happening?
Nice one.
What's up, Harry? Welcome to the
good.
show. You're like the tactical guru. If you have not seen any of like Harry's posts on the websites, he is our guru, and I want to go through your article specifically for this game. But welcome aboard. You are the Scouse American, which is the complete opposite of what we got going over here. What do you expect, man? What do you expect to see today?
I don't know. I think it's two teams that obviously both feel like they've got a chance of winning the game. They've both got like an interesting tactical setup, but they've shifted what they're doing, both of them. Liverpool obviously have like a new system, slightly new way of doing things, and Tottenham have a new manager and have totally overhauled what they do. There's normally goals in this game, and both teams have become even more kind of adventurous and more attacking and free-flowing. So I think probably a 0-0 draw.
Sounds about right. And John, still investing in those stocks, man. What's going on?
I'm good. Like, it's good to have Harry here. I just got to say, shout out Harry, because whenever I read his stuff, man, I feel like Pep Guardiola at the end of it. I just feel like, and then I just feel like, you know, when what they do with those boards and they move all the like the circles and stuff, I was just like, dang, like this shit like makes sense. So if you guys haven't, you know, tuned into our website, read his stuff, please, it's absolutely good. But I'm good. Yeah, I'm expecting a draw as well. Spoiler alert. So.
Yeah, that is a
sorry to like dampen the mood.
Harry is like the John Madden of soccer with his like lineups and circles and drawings and stuff like that. Right. And still heading the fan club is Curtis Jones fan club president Kazi. What's happening?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I feel I'm also out of body.
Nothing at all.
I don't know what's going on. I feel like
there's nothing going on. I hear there's like some golf going on or whatever.
Ryder Cup. Been up since 2 a.m. watching the Ryder Cup. Yeah.
Seriously?
I have, yeah.
I think you could pay me to watch golf, honestly.
I mean, it's better than watching Fenerbahce.
Possibly be a worse sport to watch than baseball, and that's saying a lot.
Hey, don't diss baseball like that.
It's got to be more entertaining than watching Fenerbahce. So
you know what? Okay, well, there you go. Have a nice day.
Diss baseball like that.
That kind of insubordination will not be tolerated, Kazi.
Oh, dear.
Actually, you know what? Somehow they're one of the favorites in the Europa this year to win it. Of course, before the Champions League teams drop off, but I think they're like the third or fourth favorite to win it right now.
You put money on them?
A lot of good like players like Dzeko and Tadic and who else? Szymanski is there. Fred, good old Fred from United. I don't know if they're playing today or not. We'll find out the scores in a little bit over here. So the lineup. Let's start with the lineup, I guess. Harry, I'll come to you on this one so you can kind of I mean, this is what you predicted, correct?
Yes. Well, I got 10 out of 11. I thought we'd start Núñez as opposed to Gakpo. So Gakpo best have a really good game or I'm going to be fuming. But no, I think it's good. One thing I wasn't expecting is to see Trent back on the bench. Klopp had said this game was going to come too early for him, so to have him on the bench is really handy, especially if we are drawing towards the end of the game. And we saw in the North London derby that Tottenham are happy to kind of sit in and take a point if they've got a point towards the end of the game. So being able to bring on Trent for things like set pieces, his delivery is just spot on. Although Szoboszlai and McAllister both can like put it on a sixpence as well if you need them to. But having Trent on there just to, if it does become like an attack versus defense game in the last 10, 15, it's just like another weapon that we've got. So I'm quite excited about that. Otherwise, seeing Gomez start at right back, I think probably we'll see more width from the fullbacks as opposed to this thing of them trying to come inside, which would be I think useful if we can catch Spurs in transition a little bit more often. I think we'll get some space in those wide areas. So getting the fullbacks like high and wide up the pitch and being able to get crosses into the box. I think, yeah, I'd see like a lot of routes to goals for us. I see plenty of routes to goals for Spurs as well, which is why, as again, like the logic would say probably a high scoring game. That's why I'm still convinced that no one will score today. Yeah.
Kazi, we talked yesterday morning, right? Your boy Anand kept insisting Endo would start. This is the midfield we expected. Your boy is out there. I think this pretty much cements his spot, right? You would think?
Yeah, definitely. He is Liverpool's most important midfielder. I know you can have somebody like all you like and you can have their arguments, but I like to have players who don't lose the ball very often. And Curtis does not lose the ball. I did call Gakpo last week. I thought he'd do Gakpo over Nunes. I think in the first 20 is very interesting for Spurs. I think their crowd's going to be riled up for this game. And I think Liverpool just cannot concede in the first 20. Which, listen, we can say that about the other 50 games that we just played where we do concede in the first 20. But the difference, I think, between this game and the other games, when Liverpool went 1-0 down, we haven't went 2-0 down. Where Spurs can make you go 2-0 down early, and that's completely different to being 1-0 down. So I think the managers went with Gakpo. I don't expect Liverpool to be playing extremely well in the first 20 minutes. I think we'll grow into the game and grow into it and let the frustration kind of happen on on Spurs side. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I like the team a lot. I would have thought he might have forced.
That was so funny. That was your subconscious talking, by the way. You said like United.
Yeah, one eye open.
One of the eye. It's finished, and I'm like, oh,
it's finished. Yeah, they lost at home to Palace.
Yeah. So it's just like literally it was there. You know what I mean? Seeing Roy Hodgson doing a Mourinho down the sideline. I don't wanted to see like this. But no, good side, mate. Listen, and I'm more surprised. I want to get Harry's point of view on this. That I never went with Solomon today, because I thought he would have went with that Solomon because he kind of likes him, doesn't he? I'm unsure about him. The jury's out. But what do you think? I thought he would have went with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think obviously they brought in Brennan Johnson. I think that it's interesting. I mentioned width for Liverpool side. I think that like having out and out wingers and players that can play with width is really important for Spurs, because they like to make sure, as I put in the piece, with these triangles, they've always got someone deep, always someone on the last line, and always someone out wide. And Solomon is someone that's comfortable playing in those areas. But I think where Kulusevski likes to come inside, he plays on the right and he's left-footed, so that's less his game. And then they brought in Brennan Johnson, immediately lost him to injury. I think that they might have made the judgment call that, like, look, we don't have out and out wingers. We might as well play an extra striker and see if we can kind of get an overload in that last line against Liverpool, especially because Son just always tends to score against us. And so I think it doesn't particularly matter. I wonder actually if we might see Richarlison through the middle and Son on the left.
Yeah.
Because they'll probably think, we can get at Liverpool's right-hand side. Matip's not as quick. Gomez, maybe he'll be coming inside playing the Trent role, or maybe out wide. Like, they might think that that's where they can hurt us. And like, historically, that is where we've conceded goals in the past, is down that side. But Solomon's a good option to have on the bench. I think he's two-footed and direct. So yeah, I don't know. That might be his thinking on it.
Yeah.
John, are you surprised as Gakpo over Nunez? I think we almost assumed, and mainly because of the minutes he just played as well. But are you like shocked, or what is your reasoning for Gakpo over Nunez?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I honestly thought, like, considering Nunez didn't start or didn't play as much as he would have in the midweek game against Leicester, he would kind of be assurance to start now. And he's been really good over the last few games, so I always thought he would be, considering I expect, like Kazi was saying, to start the game. I feel like Spurs will be all over us. We'd be sitting back. And he is, along with Salah, that really good outlet that, good long ball could come in. And then, he could just create, it's kind of cliched right now, but the chaos that he brings in terms of, like, it would kind of have Spurs worrying at the back of their head, like, we can't really get into these guys too much because they got two absolute beasts there at the back who could hurt us if we're not ready. But I also see the reasoning as to why Gakpo would be starting, considering he is better in the build-up. And if Spurs are going to be going all out, towards us, not trying to be too tactical here in front of Harry, right? Like, he's kind of got me. He's kind of influenced me over here, right? Like, if he's going to be like, if we're going to be having the ball it's no contest between Gakpo and Nunez, who's way better in the build-up, right? So I can see him maybe getting the ball, driving a few yards upfield, spraying those passes out to Salah and Diaz. So I'm a little surprised, but I'm totally not opposed to it, honestly. Like, I can see us working well with either one. So
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good for me.
Kazi, does that almost say to you, stop first, hit later, in terms of how we approach the game by starting Gakpo?
yeah. They're going to have 70% of the ball in the first 20, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a big 20. And listen, if you're evaluating Liverpool right now, you're the opposition. The first thing you're going to say is they concede early. So get all over them. That's genuinely, what is the conversation that you have? Liverpool's weakness is they concede early, try and get the first, and if not, get the second and see how they react. The one thing that benefits Liverpool massively is that their fullbacks, especially Porro, who's more of a wing back than a fullback, loves to commit, loves to overcommit, in my opinion. And Romero's also a walking yellow card most games. So you fancy Diaz? That's what Liverpool's going to be way out with, like a long diag to Diaz to get in behind kind of thing. That's probably going to be Liverpool's way out for the first 20. And I think, again, as I say, I think we'll just grow into the game. The Nunez option, because if I'm Romero with that Van der Ven, who can again, he's quick, but the jury's still kind of out a little bit. This is a team who did,
You're still with us. I'm just shuffling the shit around over here. I'm just shuffling the deck a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that when you look at Van der Ven, the jury's still out a little bit. I wouldn't fancy playing against Nunez for the last 30. You know what I mean? And let's get it right now because we can't say it, guys, because the game is over. Liverpool
yes, I was waiting for it to be
have a chance to go top of the league.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this was there. It has been an orgasmic. I was telling Harry before I went on air. We were like in the pre-match. I was like, man, it's been like an orgasmic morning. Everton lost, City lost, United lost. And if you put the cherry on top with like a Liverpool win, this would be quiet today. These scores over here, Harry, how does it affect the game at all, do you think?
I'm going to put my Liverpool hat on and say, no, obviously it's nice the other scores, but we just focus on our game. We just take it one game at a time, and which the most important thing is the 3 points. But I mean, obviously, they'll know that they're going to go top of the league if they win today. So that's
why he's here, people. He's the tactics guru.
Well, Jurgen Klopp is currently doing knee slides across the changing room.
Right.
Don't give the time. But...
Yeah, you know that meme with Hassan Hoots over? He's just like, and then he just goes like,
yeah. But we still have to take care of our business. We've got to win our game. And Spurs, I mean, I haven't got the league table in front of me, but Spurs also unbeaten this season. They'll think, if they can beat Liverpool, they'll think like we can do an Arsenal last year. No one thought that Arsenal were going to be in the title race last year, and then suddenly they started well and just built this momentum, and they'll think, well, why not us? We could do that. Yeah. We're in North London as well. We could do that. So they'll be right up for today as well. So I think that we have to enjoy this moment of everyone losing, but the narrative could turn really quickly from a good weekend for Liverpool to a good weekend for the underdog because Liverpool lose as well. So we have to keep our heads on.
There's an argument here, though, guys. Right? This is kind of like a free hit now. Liverpool have went to Newcastle, Chelsea, and Spurs and have a chance to go top of the league. That's insane. They're like 3 of the hardest away games you can have out the top 7, let's just say. Newcastle have only lost a couple of home in a year or so. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this is like a free hit a little bit. There's an argument now, Tim, when you mentioned yesterday, would you take a point? And I was like, well, not really, because I think we can go out and beat Brighton anyway. But now you kind of look and go, actually, a point is not bad. Do you know what I mean? Like when City notoriously always lose to Spurs, weirdly, especially at their ground. And I think Liverpool, by the way, are the only team that's unbeaten at their ground in the league, this new ground. Liverpool haven't never lost there. And they haven't lost to Spurs since that Lovren Wembley game, 4-1 in 2016. So, oh, man.
Anyone have something made of wood? Because I got a knock on wood here with Cosby's.
Hey, look who's back in action. BJ says we have to take advantage of the Manchester City slipping Wolves up the Reds. I mean, that's the thing. Same question to you, I guess, John. Does it change how we approach the game? Because, we spoke about this yesterday morning, and really a point away at Spurs normally would not be a bad point. And this almost makes it even slightly better. but at the same time makes the win almost like a 6-pointer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the typical thing to say is that Liverpool are under immense pressure to get a result here to go up. I think it's the opposite. Yeah, like what Kazi's saying, a free hit. Considering if we get like a draw or something, it's not the end of the world. So I feel like these players will be kind of relaxed coming in, like, oh, everyone did it. Now we just have to do ours. I think, you know, the onus is on Spurs, considering they're at home. You know, the crowd is going to be into it. So with us, we just have to pick our moments. And I think the experience that this team has, you know, we have winners in this squad. We have the Van Dijks, the Allisons, the Salahs here on the field. It's going to, you know, help us through. I still think we're going to draw, but then I don't know. Like, in terms of it affecting them, I think they're too experienced in terms of like handling these games to be affected by it. But I feel like the quality of Spurs are also have been on display for the past few games. And listen, a draw isn't the end of the world. I'm still going with that. So not to be a negative Nancy here with like with like all of y'all really positive, but I'm just yeah. I'm sorry.
The only way it affects Liverpool, I think, is that if Spurs are winning when he does the Nunes sub. Because if he fancies him on 30 with 30, if he makes a sub on 60, which is unheard of for Klopp, but if he makes a sub on 60, he might go, well, actually, we can win this. Or if we're drawing, it'll be interesting to see what he does with the sub. Because does he think this is my chance here to actually go and win this game quickly and get Nunes on early? I think that's the only way it might change his thinking a little bit. But I think he sets his team out to win the game anyway, and that's why he's picked it. But that'll be super interesting on the 60, how it's going for Liverpool.
Harry, going back to your piece over here real quick. I mean, you talked a bit about like the pressure up front and winning the ball and stuff like that. I mean, it's a team. I think Spurs is a team where if we press and win the ball, it's huge. But if they get through that press where, you know, you saw even like Leicester at times break through, but obviously a team like Spurs has so many more weapons and so much more skill on the ball that they can really make you pay. Is that a part of the reason you think Gakpo starts? Because as much as Nunez has improved press-wise, Gakpo is still better at it.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that what Gakpo does off the ball is probably a huge part of Klopp's thinking. I think also starting Curtis Jones, even though he played in midweek, makes sense because, as I said at the piece, he likes to, or he's very capable of playing in wide areas. And we've seen actually the goal that Diaz got against Spurs last time we played them when he scored at the near post on the right-hand side, even though he's playing as a left winger. I think he has been asked, since he's come back from injury, can you get more in the last line rather than getting the ball kind of like hugging the touchline and then dribbling at people? Can you be more decisive? Can you get more goals and be in those like decisive central areas? And the only way to really do that safely is to have someone covering that left wing behind him, which Curtis Jones, of all our midfielders, I think is most comfortable dropping into that area. It's sort of similar to how Gini Wijnaldum used to cover behind Robertson when Robertson would get forward more. And so I think having one of your midfielders play out wide, it means that basically you end up with two midfielders in the middle. Yeah. And if Nunes is also on the last line with Diaz and with Salah and one of the fullbacks gets forward, that could leave us kind of exposed when we're trying to build up. We could give the ball away and get hit on the counter-attack. Whereas I think with Gakpo more likely to kind of drop into the midfield, it just gives us a third body there to counter-press at the right time. If we give the ball away, he's also, as we've talked about, better at a kind of link-up play than Nunes is as well. So I think that Gakpo helps us defensively with his work off the ball, and he also helps us defensively in possession. I think he's more likely to be in the right area to react if we give the ball away and the attack breaks down, which is going to be, I think, critical for us. That was a big problem we had last season. I think we talked so much about the press and how it didn't work, but part of the reason it didn't work, I think, is because we would give the ball away a lot, kind of just like a loose pass, or we would try and build up maybe more slowly and then give the ball away, and we weren't in the right position to counter press at the right time. I think that's something that we're getting a lot better at this season, and having him start this game really helps us do that.
Let me ask you something, Harry. Kind of related to this game, but you see my tagline here: investing in Gravenberch stocks, right? So where do you see Gravenberch like kind of coming in? Like, do you see him more in that Jones role, where in terms of like keeping the ball, making the play tick, or maybe in a more creative Szoboszlai role on the right, kind of like driving forward, being a problem to the opposition? Because like he's kind of a gem, because physically he's tall, he's strong, he can move forward, but then at the same time he's pretty good at using his body to shield the ball and retain possession. So like, where do you see him?
It's an interesting question, I think, because physically he kind of bears a resemblance to Fabinho, and so I think that there's this urge to kind of type him as well. He's a number 6, right? He's this leggy number 6 who's going to win these loose balls and stuff. And actually, I think his ability to win the ball is probably the area he needs to work on the most, from what I've seen from him. More at Ajax, I didn't really see him at Bayern. So I think, I mean, he's clearly a really talented player, right? Like, he keeps the ball really well. He has got an eye for a pass. He also likes to carry it forward, and so I think he's got kind of some of the best traits of like a Wijnaldum and also a Keita and also like a Szoboszlai. Like, he kind of has a lot of potential, and I think I don't think he's kind of settled into the player that he's going to be yet. And so I think as much as we could kind of speculate what kind of player he's going to be, I think he's going to show us what kind of player he's going to be. I think Klopp is just going to get him out on the pitch, is going to have him in training, and is going to kind of be with him on the journey. And I think he'll settle into like, okay, that this is really where he's decisive in this team. So I think he'll show us, which I'm excited about, right? Because
certainly worth investing stocks in, right?
Definitely. I think that would be a smart buy, yeah.
You and your damn portfolio. Klopp, Sergi is playing our sideline reporter over here. Klopp, I'm assuming, based on asked on why Gakpo over Nunez, as Nunez's slight injury. So maybe all our theories are flushed down the toilet, and that's the reasoning over there. Kazi, if you had to pick one player, I mean, we talked earlier about, Diaz exploiting that left-hand spot. Obviously, Szoboszlai has been the talk all month. But like, if you picked one player and said, hey, we need them to have a solid game to win this game, who's that guy?
Joe Gomez, probably.
No, I'm kidding.
If he does Son on the left, I think it's super clever by Ange if he does it, because you might be able to, you can pin Gomez back a lot more. And again, I assume we're going to be pinned back for 20 anyway. But it also, Gomez is susceptible to have a slow start. Mm-hmm. I think you remember the Wolves away, he was shocking first half, and then he came back and he was excellent in the second. So I think it is on Gomez. But the one thing the manager has got now is the option of Trent off the bench. He has got that. Yeah. If Gomez is having a bit of a nightmare, he's had an early booking, and he's been up the wall with Son, but Liverpool, it's still 0-0 or 1-1, then that's where that sub comes in for him. It's interesting, man, because I also look at Diaz, man, because my jury's still out on Diaz a lot, because I think his end product has to be improved. He picks up so many unbelievable positions, and then he holds onto the ball too long, or he'll over it across, and you're like, and this is where his argument sometimes is for Jota. I know he's not going to beat a man. I know he's slow, but also he comes narrow when he can interplay. He holds the ball up better than him. So my jury's also out on Diaz, and I think, again, I keep going back to this Porro situation. If Porro's going to commit like he has been committing in the previous games, Diaz has to be our outlet. You'd have to give us more than what you're giving us right now. We all love him. We all think his ceiling is super high, but his end product has to be a lot better. And he's going to have to hold on to the ball. It's probably a bit longer anyway, deeper 3 or 4 seconds, because Gakpo comes so deep. And you've got to wait for Gakpo and Salah to get up the field now. And you can't just go on a big mazy run and take on 3 players, then look up and they're 50 yards behind you. You're going to have to be a bit clever when you're picking your moments and your runs. So probably them 2, really.
How about you there, John? If you had to pick a dude and say, this guy has to be the man.
Well, not to be super cliched, but I feel like this game is going to be a game of margins, and in a game of margins, you're going to need your best players to get you over those margins. So I think Salah is going to be the key here. Whether it's, when you give the ball to Salah, you totally expect something positive to happen. Like whether it's a killer pass, or maybe he'll get past 3 guys to set up someone, or score himself. I just feel like, I won't say we take him for granted, but everyone else does in terms of how good he is, man. Like, I always keep saying to my friends, the closest I've seen to Messi in a Liverpool shirt is Mo Salah. So I feel like he'll be the difference this game. We give him the ball, something's going to happen. Again, cliched, but give the ball to Mo and he'll score, I feel.
That's Bobby, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
So how about you, Harry? I mean, the thing, I was going to go with Nunez originally. Now that makes it default Gakpo. I just feel like both teams are going to have opportunities. To me, it's going to come down to who's more clinical with them. So I was going to say Nunez. With Gakpo, that clinical could be a pass now as well as a goal. Who is your key guy that has to perform?
I think that's a really good point. Actually, I think just going back to what Kazi was saying about Diaz, I think because he scores good goals, we think of him as a good goal scorer. Because every time he scores, it's memorable. But I think it's just the volume of goals probably does need to go up. You need to be a little bit more clinical, which is obviously exactly what Salah is. I'm going to be a little bit left field, probably go Alexis McAllister. Because we're saying Spurs are going to try and start quickly. I think that one thing that Liverpool can do to defend against Spurs is to not let them have the ball. And McAllister's really good at that kind of Thiago-esque, like setting the tempo of the game, dictating how the flow of the game is going to go with when he receives the ball, where he receives it, who gets it back from him. And we saw for his assists for Núñez last week, he's really capable of spending an hour passing the ball sideways and then playing one killer through ball. And I think if he can do something like that today, it'll make a big difference. Even if he doesn't get the plaudits he deserves, I think a big game for him means a big game for us.
Kazi, does this also say that this is how we're rolling for the most part? I mean, if anybody like Gravenberch works himself in, but it looks like if he does, it would be more in an attacking role. Is like this what we've settled on at least till January or whatever, so we can start rumors again that Mac is at 6 for this team.
Yeah, I feel like what it allows Liverpool with the McAllister thing is that it allows Szoboszlai to drop deep, where Liverpool can resort into the double pivot for like 10 minutes. And I think Liverpool will start with that today, by the way. I think Szoboszlai will be alongside McAllister for at least the first 20. And we're not going to see a lot of breaking. It's going to be a lot more counter-attacking at least. So I always think about this with Fabinho when he was in his pomp. I don't think he wants anyone alongside him. I just think he just goes out my way, leave me alone, and I can do this. So I can't, like, that's just kind of... But with McAllister, because he doesn't play the role, I think he likes to have Szoboszlai and go, can you come and help me for 5 years? Do you know what I mean? And that kind of moment in games. The Gravenberch one's interesting because I've been looking at our fixtures a lot. At the end of October, we played Toulouse at home, Forest at home, Bournemouth away in the Cup, Luton away, and Toulouse away. So you kind of look at those 5 games, and Gravenberch has got to be, we want to start 3 of them.
Yeah.
You know, Liverpool should be allowed to drop Gravenberch in and go, there, you're free in 3 weeks' time. Get yourself match fit. We'll keep dropping you into these games with Union and stuff like that. But you're going to start 3 out of those 5 or 4 out of those 5. And then that's where we'll see where Gravenberch is by the start of November. But there's also a past this where Liverpool could be 12 points clear of the league then. Who knows? But I mean, you know, that could be just me. I've been up since 2 a.m. I'm high on coffee. All the results have gone my way. Leave me alone.
I don't got anything made of wood here. Fucking hell.
My head's gone. Luton are the worst team in the league and they just beat Everton away. I just can't do this anymore. So
Dude, I mean, yeah, I don't know where to laugh more at, but it's almost like if it wasn't for this game, I'd still be laughing. But the nerves of this game.
I want to get this into you guys and the viewers here. Please treat yourself to watching the extended highlights of the Everton Luton game, because Luton have 3 set pieces where they win every single header. Pickford makes great saves, saved off the line, and then they score off the 4th set piece. They win every header for the first goal. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, yeah.
Whoa. I'm enjoying it, but also this could age really poorly if we get turned over today.
Spurs are fine. Spurs are well better than Luton. By the way,
I wish we had like at least 2-3 hours to enjoy it, because I'm like, the nerves are already kicked in, so I can't even enjoy it at this point till our game is over. But I think, going back to what you were saying, Kazi, I might be able to enjoy it even after a draw, as opposed to not being able to enjoy it at all normally. But okay, as our sideline reporters chiming back in, Núñez ruled himself out.
Never liked that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, does it? He's like, I'm out. Like,
hey, if you're 70% fit and you don't want to play against Christian Romero, come on, surely you go.
You only need one leg, like, just put the other one in a bag and we're fine. You can just bring it out next week. Okay, prediction time, people. Before we head out and get ready and situated for the game, maybe catch some Everton highlights. Let's start with you, Harry. Give us a prediction. Don't say 0-0.
If I can't say 0-0, I'm going to say 3-2 Liverpool.
I like that. That was actually mine as well. I went with 2-2 all week, but then switched it to 3-2. Mr. 2-2 over here, Gravenberch, still on it? Still with the draw?
2-2. Still 2-2
with the draw. Dang it. Kazi, anything changed for you?
Said 3-2 yesterday. I'll stick with 3-2 again. and Darwin to win it late on for a bit of Darwin chaos.
I don't know what this means when he's like ruled off. Cersei says he pulled a Sturridge. Please, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Trevor says 3-2 and Romero gets sent off.
You have money writing on that? He's got money writing on that.
Oh, yeah. Ivan Toney did. He's Ivan Toney.
That's a parlay waiting to happen.
Yeah.
The card bets are Paqueta, though. I think that Tony goes with the score. To be fair to him. Okay, people, let's get settled in. Thanks, guys, for joining. Thanks to all those. Oh, before I forget, by the way, last day for our giveaway. So go ahead to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and at the end of today at midnight Central Time is where I will basically finalize the name. So all you got to do is head on out to the YouTube page, hit subscribe. It's free, and then you get the jersey, which could, I've been saying it for the last month now, could be the title-winning home kit. So that is right there. What a freaking morning. Let's make it what a freaking afternoon. John will be doing some hosting festivities post-match. That should be interesting by itself. And then we'll all be joining and talking about, hopefully, another Liverpool victory. Enjoy the game, guys. See you guys right after. Take care.